Okay, so a fair while ago, we got the news that DreamWorks was going full steam ahead with doing what Disney's been doing for the last decade or so. That is, remaking old classic films of their animated catalogue and turning them into live-action films to try to siphon money out of your nostalgic pocket. Fair play, I suppose, because despite huge amounts of whinging and salt online, Disney's proven that this is a formula that sells tickets. So why wouldn't DreamWorks want to get in on the action? It just makes so much business sense in my eyes. Love 'em or hate 'em, these sort of cash grab remakes are here to stay. Of course, just like in the same way as Disney, DreamWorks fans, or more specifically How to Train Your Dragon fans, have not really taken to the existence of this all that well, or at least at first they didn't. I remember when it was first announced, there was the definitive air of, really? Is this seriously being made? I kind of got where they were coming from as well. The reality is that this was a very good animated franchise, a massively successful one, and it has to be among the best works of DreamWorks' entire catalogue, at least during the 2010s. Remaking that and remaking it so soon, it is a bit nuts to me. I'd figure the 2030s is when we get that sort of thing, but here we are. Same with Moana. The studios are really starting to jump the gun. Of course though, like I said, it does set up the online and vocal portions of the fan base to get very angry and upset, because I think for many, it's bastardizing their fandom and tainting the original by association. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that point of view, but it is what it is. They'll still hate watch it, so in the end the studio wins, but by golly, I'll complain about it on social media until it comes out. Regardless, after that first announcement, people moved on, and in a lot of ways forgot that it was happening at all. Occasionally there'd be some sort of uproar when we got new information about the show, like the casting, and of course it was the casting. People went wild about that, the same way that people went wild about the casting of the recent live-action Percy Jackson adaptation on Disney+. Guess we'll see you back here for the Harry Potter showcast announcements. Anyway, moving on. Recently, we got our first still images. I was a bit mixed on them, honestly. On the one hand, it looked better than I expected. On the other hand, it looked worse. I don't know, I guess I expected it to look really trash, like laughably bad. I also thought that this image very much looked like the guy playing Hiccup was doing a Hiccup cosplay for Halloween this year. You get me? Something just felt a bit off. We've since had other shots and stills, and they maintain that feel. Cosplay. There's just the undercurrent of Viking Con meetup. So I think it was enough to alleviate my immediate concerns, but not enough to fully squash them. Then we got the actual trailer just the other day, and it seems I was right, this thing is going to get a lot of attention no matter what the internet says. It will succeed no matter what. As of writing this, it has 8.7 million views on YouTube. It's the #1 trend as well. No idea what the numbers are for other social media platforms, but I'd assume they're high too. I also have to say I noticed a lot less hate in the comments than I was actually expecting. There were some jokes and memes and whatnot, but those sorts of things are usually just wall-to-wall complaints, questioning who asked for this to be made at all, and talking trash about all the different choices the filmmakers have made. I'm sure there's some of that buried in the comments, but for the most part, it's largely hopes and prayers that they don't butcher the retelling of the OG. Anyway, this brings us to the trailer. I want to work our way through the trailer and see what we can find, give my thoughts on everything. So we start off the trailer in the best way possible, a deep rumbling horn noise that evokes Vikings. Seriously, immediately my brain connects that kind of noise with the Viking theme from Age of Empires 2, Age of Kings. It's an old computer game I played as a kid. It just evokes nostalgia and Vikings, and combining this with a rocky cliff face creates this feeling of a strong and fierce land and people. And then you contrast that immediately with Hiccup sitting there on the soft grassy hills, different from all the other Vikings. I thought that was actually rather clever. Also, at a distance, it does feel like a dead ringer for Hiccup, doesn't it? I'm still not 100% sold as of right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Then we came to Stoic. Holy shit, it's insane how perfect Stoic looks. I mean, I know it's the same actor, and so you can get that voice perfect, but that doesn't always mean it'll be a match for the character's actual physicality. Gerard Butler just has it though. Man, feels like a long time since I've seen Gerard Butler in anything. I just took a look at his Wikipedia page and yeah, that explains it. Lots of action movies that I've never heard of. Oh well, get that bag, buddy. Regardless, this shot goes hard where he comes in from the mist on the longship. Yes. We then have some voiceover of him telling Hiccup about their people and axes and killing dragons, yada yada. You know how it is. It's the simple story of Stoic wanting his son to be a mighty dragon slayer and Hiccup feeling like he can't be that. Although I did note that it felt like Stoic was already more enthusiastic about his son in the trailer than he was for most of the first film. I wonder if that's going to be a change. After all, the first animated film made it seem like Stoic tolerated his son for the most part, at best. And then they had almost no bond at all until Hiccup and Toothless saved Burke. And then they mostly bonded off screen with Stoic dying in the second movie. Perhaps they do want to flesh out that bond some more so we can see it in action and show that despite their differences, They do actually love each other, they just really struggle to connect because they're so different and they don't have somebody as a halfway point to bridge the gap. Valka, where you at? So I think that might be a change, but we'll wait and see. Also, this shot of Stoic also just goes very hard. I wonder if he's going to play a more serious character in this. In the OG, he's clearly serious, but he's also very much a comedy character. For instance, the famous gifting of the boob helmet scene, just that whole scene. He's not cracking jokes, but he oozes this awkward dad vibe, which is just so funny. Will they keep that in this version? Hope so. So far in the trailer, he seemed just very badass. We then get a close-up of Hiccup. I don't know what it is, I'm just not fully sold yet. I think it's the fact that Hiccup's a dweeb in the movies. Here, he's clearly not a dweeby dude. He's pretending to be a dweeb. He's acting like one. It's like when they cast a late 20s actor as a freshman in high school, and it clearly doesn't feel right. It's the same vibe here. He's meant to be an outsider in their community, not just in personality, but in everything. He's a pipsqueak in every respect. Here he isn't though. We get an aerial shot of the Dragon Arena in the village down beneath the cliffs, which looks damn awesome. If nothing else, even if the story sucks, it's clear that it will look beautiful. Back to Hiccup and Stoic. Man, you can tell that Hiccup has Hollywood hairstylists, can't you? There's a difference between straight hair and straightened hair. This feels overly straightened to the point that it feels out of place in a Viking village. The next shot of note shows the dragon nest of the Red Death and all the different subservient dragons. Lots of dragons we know and love from the animation there. Oh, there's so much attention to detail, so much color, so much CGI. How much did this cost? I'm worried. Why am I worried? If they want to spend their money, who am I to judge? I doubt it's going to be a box office bomb, so it's not like they could inflate the budget too high, could they? We then see, I think, Stoic and his army landing on the Dragon Island when they're going to invade to fight the Red Death and his horde. This is pretty cool. Some of the helmets and whatnot do look a bit goofy and cosplayish, but I think you were always going to run into that issue since the Vikings in this franchise are by design fantasy Vikings with those famously stupid helmets. So they'll always have a goofy vibe about them. That's okay. But where are the beards, my friend? That's a common factor in the films, isn't it? That they're bearded? I'm just seeing clean shave. Next up, we finally get a look at Toothless as we see the sequence where after shooting him down the previous night, Hiccup goes to finish him off, but finds himself unable to do so, which in turn allows Toothless to begin to trust him and for them to forge their friendship on which the entire story hinges. God damn, they seem to have gotten Toothless right. He looks so good to me. And then we start to slowly get that classic How to Train Your Dragon theme work its way in. Oh, my nostalgia got me shivering. It's such a beautiful score, really. The whole segment just justifies the existence of this movie, not gonna lie. Being able to see Toothless there in live action is something I did not know I wanted, but now that I have it, you can pry it out of my cold, dead hands. Although the effect was somewhat ruined when contrasted with his scene partner, the perfectly combed and swept Hiccup. I know I'm ragging on the kid quite hard right now, but it's not to do with his acting. I think he delivers the lines well. It was a bit jarring at first as the OG Hiccup voice is so iconic, but the more times I watch through the trailer, the less that type of thing really matters to me. I think he's probably a good actor who's been somewhat let down in his styling. But yeah, that first touch sequence, oh, it gave me chills. Hell yeah. You combine it with the swelling theme tune that gets more and more powerful, then cutting to Toothless's face. Man, I didn't think I was going to get this hype, but here we are. Although I do want to say, I reckon the eyes on Toothless could have been a touch bigger. Although maybe that would ruin the cute effect and make him look too unrealistic and uncanny. I don't know. Not sure on that one, just a thought. And so here is where the trailer ends, with the release date of June 13th next year. Yes. Yes. I'm all aboard the hype train now. I don't care what anybody says. Finally a remake that includes me in its target audience. I'm sure there's people with legitimate critiques, but the way I'm feeling, I just don't care. This trailer, and I'll be real, mostly that music, have drawn my ass in. Let's go! So with all that being said, that's the end of the video, and I will just remind you these have all been my opinions, and I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the trailer? Did you like it? Hate it? Are you excited for the movie? Maybe not? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.